Hello my YouTube beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be playing around with the new collection from BH Cosmetics. This collection launched for Christmas time, so I have three things here to test out. I have the Naughty palette, which is very big, as you can see. I think the collection is called Ho Ho Holidays, but that could be wrong. Naughty is a 30 color eyeshadow palette, and then we have the Let It Glow 4 color highlighter palette, which I was super excited to try. And then the last thing that I got is this Mistletoe Kisses Cashmere Cream Lip Trio. So there's a lot of things in here that I have yet to try from BH Cosmetics. I've heard some good things. I have some previous products from BH Cosmetics, but I've just never tried like face or lip products, but I have tried a few of their eyeshadow palettes, which are really good. So if you're excited for this collection, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, let me know, and don't forget to subscribe because I do upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Usually I always go in with the eyeshadow palette like first, but I think I'm gonna go in with the highlighter palette. So this Let It Glow highlighter palette retails for $14. It did come like very well packaged. I do want to say that. It seems like they put a lot of thought into how they wrapped everything. So this looked so interesting to me. This is what the palette looks like. You do get a mirror in it, and you get many different shades in here. And I gotta say, looking at these, they look incredible. I hope they swatch very similarly or they apply. So we have the shade Sugar Cookie, Starlight, Tinsel, and Below Zero. So you get one kind of icy champagne shade, a deeper pink highlight, a very champagne peachy kind of shade, and then a icy white. And I will be doing swatches for you guys just so you get an idea of how everything looks, even if I don't actually use it on the skin today. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch all of these highlighters just so I know how they are applying, how they're looking, and maybe it can help me decide which one to use on my face today. As you can tell, I have everything else done for makeup other than these products I'm going to apply. So let's go ahead and swatch Sugar Cookie. It is this shade right here. That looks really pigmented. Very icy, it looks more white when it's swatched, but I can see that easily being a very beautiful highlight for the winter time, especially if you have fair skin. Now let's go ahead and swatch the shade Starlight. This is the pink highlight right here. Looks a little deeper for my skin tone, but we'll see how it swatches. That could probably work really well for deeper skin tones, or like even as a lid shade. So there is that one, which is Starlight. Both are reflecting so beautifully in the light. Now we have the shade Tinsel, which I think either Tinsel or Sugar Cookie are gonna be the one that I go in with. So Tinsel again is this one right here. Whoa, okay. That's a lot more yellow than I was thinking that it was. That shade right there is Tinsel. And last highlight to swatch is the shade Below Zero. This is the very icy white shade right here. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's gonna be a beautiful inner corner highlight. So again, at the top is Sugar Cookie, Starlight, Tinsel, and Below Zero. To me, Sugar Cookie is kind of a more subtle version of Below Zero. They both have a similar tone to it. I wish that they were a little bit more different because swatched they look kind of similar, except Sugar Cookie is just not as dramatic as Below Zero. But $14 for 4 different highlighters I think is a pretty good deal. And I know that BH Cosmetics always runs sales, but I just couldn't wait for the sale. I saw everything and I was like, oh my gosh, I need it right now. If this collection ever goes on sale in the future, you might be able to get it for cheaper than what I purchased it for. So I think I'm going to start with Sugar Cookie and then maybe top it with Tinsel, I think is what I'm gonna go for. Just gonna take my highlighter brush. Okay, there is a little bit of glitter, but not bad in Sugar Cookie. But that is what the highlight's looking like. Again, I'm gonna add Tinsel on top just to make it a little bit more warm. Just so beware, these do have a little bit of glitter in them. There you go, those are Sugar Cookie and Tinsel mixed together. I think they're really pretty. I can definitely see some more glitter, sparkly stuff going on than typical highlights that I have. So if you're not a fan of glitter, just beware that these at least these two shades have it in them, but they are still very pretty. Now let's go in with this Naughty palette. So this actually has a sister palette to it in the collection called the Nice palette. The Nice palette was a lot smaller than this one. So this palette retails for $29, so definitely more of a higher priced palette, but again, you do get 30 different eyeshadows. Looking at the highlights more, I will say they're not my favorite that I've ever applied, just because I can see definitely some sparkles in it, but I think for like a really holiday festive look, it would work. Here is the Naughty palette. You don't get a mirror in here, but these are what all of the shades look like. Get a really wide variety, very colorful shades in here, but there are some neutral shades as well. This one just seemed more up my alley. It seemed like I would get use out of this one more than the Nice palette, because the Nice palette just didn't really scream anything unique, but I thought this palette did. So I'm gonna start with a big fluffy brush and go in with the shade Secret Santa. It is this shade right here. I'm gonna throw that in the crease. It's like a nice, you know, neutral transition shade. All right, so I do really, really like that shade. It blended really nicely. It is pigmented. Even if you have fair skin like me, it is going to show up. Like, I think when you look at the shade, it does look kind of skin tone-like. On my skin tone, it seems to show up fine. So I think what I wanna do is this Rudolph shade right here is really drawing me in. So I think I might go in with that, a mix of this chestnut shade right here, and then also Jingle Bells, this one right here. I really want to use all of those because I could see myself wearing that for, you know, a holiday party, because we're going to so many holiday parties these days. I'm gonna take a different fluffy brush, go in with the shade Yuletide. I think this is going to be a good kind of transition shade right here between the really like strong Rudolph shade. Okay, wow, that is pigmented. Okay, that shade is really pigmented. Maybe I took way too much and I barely dipped my brush in there. These are blending so nicely. Back in with that first fluffy brush. So now I want to go in with the shade Rudolph with, I guess, a different fluffy brush. We're just got to commit at this point. Throwing this in the outer V, tying it into the crease a little bit. That is a bright shade. Gonna switch to that first brush because that is very pigmented. Now I think I'm going to take a mix of Jingle Bells and Chestnuts. Jingle Bells is more of a champagne gold shade, and then Chestnuts is a similar sparkly shade, but it's more cranberry. So I think I might like mix the two. Maybe start with Jingle Bells. Okay, that's really pretty, like on the inner corner, and then fade it to Chestnuts. This is applying very much like a loose glitter, but it's not. Oh my gosh, look at that shade. It's staying like really nicely on my eye, and I'm not having a bunch of fallout either. Now to take Chestnuts, which looks like that, so pretty. This in the outer part of the eye, blend it in the middle. Okay, that is just like stunning. That is so pretty. Look at my eyes. Like it looks like loose glitter, but it's not. That is like one of the prettiest glitter shades I think I've ever used. Now I'm going to take my fluffy pencil brush. I kind of want to go in with the shade Candy Cane. It's a little bit deeper of a pink shade. It's like a magenta right here. This underneath the lower lash line. I think this look is missing a little bit of a deepening like in the outer V. So I think I'm going to take a deep shade. Let's try Nutcracker. It's a matte purple right here. Taking it on a flat definer brush, and I'm just ever so slightly putting this in the outer part of my eye. I can't even tell you how happy I am with this look. It is so pretty. It really is like the two glitters that are just putting it over the top for me. They're so gorgeous. There is the shade Snow Day in this corner up here, this one, which I kind of want to add a little into the inner corner. I will say, if I was going to holiday parties, this would be the palette I would use for it. Okay, gorgeous. I know that I'm doing a very like bold look, but there are some very neutral shades in here that you do not have to go so bold. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to add some mascara to my top and bottom lashes and add some neutral white eyeliner. I have no words. It just looks so stunning. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the palette at the very end of the video, just if you are interested in seeing that. But let's go ahead and move on to lips. The Mistletoe Kisses Cashmere Cream Lip Trio retailed for $15, and you get 3 different cream lipsticks in here. They have a neutral shade, which is called Yes. They have a Shook shade, which is a deep berry shade, and then they have the shade Slay, which is a bright, looks like orange red, which typically I would go for this one, but we might have to stay neutral today just to help out the eyes. So let's go ahead and swatch each of these. Here is what the Yes shade looks like. The packaging is really cute. I assume it is a doe foot. Yes, okay, so it is a doe foot. Why am I applying this one first? I don't know. Because I'm gonna be wearing this one. All right, let's go ahead and start off with the shade Shook. It is a deep berry. Never used this formula before. It seems like it dries down pretty matte. Here's how the shade Shook looks just freshly applied. It definitely is not drying down matte right away. I am going to use a little napkin here, see if it actually does dry down matte. Okay, yeah, so it does seem like it, you know, you could do this and have it be a little bit less dewy. This is actually a really pretty shade, and it probably could go with this look. I will say I only put the doe foot in here once. I did not like re-dip to get more product. This is just how it applied just with one swipe, so that's awesome. It was really pigmented, very creamy, easy to apply. Yeah, that's a really, really pretty shade. I thought it was gonna be deeper, but I really like the tone that it is. And once it's dried down, it does feel very comfortable on the lips. This is not a liquid lipstick, I don't think, but it does feel, for the most part, pretty matte on the lips. All right, now let's go in with the shade Slay. It's the bright, like orange red. All right, not as bright orange as I thought it would be, but it's still red. Okay, that shade is really, really pretty. It's kind of like a subtle red, especially if you use the napkin to dry down a little bit. Very pretty, not incredibly pigmented. I think it's still a very nice shade. So again, this is the shade Slay. All right, now let's go ahead and apply the last shade Yes, which is the most neutral shade of the bunch. All right, so here is the shade Yes, very pretty, very neutral. It's like my lips, but better. It's like almost the exact same shade as my lips. I feel like they did a good job at choosing lipstick colors that could go with pretty much either a super bold look or a super simple look. I don't think by any means that these are going to be super long lasting, just because even after using a napkin to help kind of like dab it down a little bit, it does still feel pretty creamy. So I don't think this is your super long lasting holiday evening kind of product, but it does look really pretty and it feels very comfortable on the lips. Let's go ahead and swatch each of the lipsticks. All right, so those are the 3 cream lipsticks swatched. I think these are all gorgeous shades. I don't know if I could pick a favorite, but they are just so pretty. All right, now let's go ahead and swatch. The thing that's gonna take the longest is the Naughty palette. I think for this palette, it seems like the shades go with each other kind of like this. Seems like kind of similar colors within each row. So I'm going to start with this row first. I'm actually gonna take my watch off because I might need more room. All right, guys, so this is the first row in the palette. We have Snow Day, Cheers, Muled, Jingle Bells, and Yuletide. And the next row down, we have Hot Cocoa, Meringue, Secret Santa, Rudolph, and Candy Cane. All right, next row down, we have Decked Out, which swatched beautifully. This might be one of my favorite shades in the palette. And we have Nutcracker, Ornaments, Santa Baby, and Sugar Plum. Fourth row down, we have Candied Fruit, Ho Ho No, which, oh my gosh, this is so stinking pigmented, Coal, Very Merry, and Balsam. Okay, fifth row in the palette, we have Spicy, Misbehave, Mistletoe, Rum, and Frosting. These shimmer shades, these like metallic ones, just swatch so well. And the last row in the palette, we have Greeting, I don't know how to say this, Panettone, I don't know. Spiked Cider, which, oh my gosh, gorgeous. Chestnuts, and Brick. All of those swatched like incredibly well. I don't think there's one bad shade in this whole palette. The matte swatched amazing. The shimmers, the like topper glitter that I used on my lid, just every single shade was so unique. I'm just like blown away by this palette. One thing I really appreciate about this palette is it seems bold, but there definitely are some very neutral shades in the palette, but what I love specifically is the bold colors. Like, I do not have a lot of these shades in my collection already. This is, to me, just such a unique palette that if you buy it, like, you are going to find shades that you do not own, which I think is really hard in the makeup industry right now. Like, everyone's kind of done it, and this seems to be, at least for me, a palette where it hasn't been done yet before. Especially in the combination of shadows that are in this palette. Like, it's just, I don't have another palette like this. This is like, I would say, one of my best performing palettes I own. And that's saying something. I would say it's almost as good of quality as Natasha Denona. Like, I know that's saying a lot, but these all just performed so well. Now, granted, haven't used all of them on my eyes, but from what I can see from swatching, oh my gosh. Through the swatches, the lip has actually dried down and it does feel very matte. It doesn't feel like it's gonna be moving around a ton. So that's good. I really appreciate that. So I think I'm gonna like the formula. 10 out of 10. Like, this collection is just something else. And if you have the chance to get your hands on it, I definitely would, because I think it's so good. As always, let me know down below what are some of your thoughts about this collection if you picked it up. And yeah, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video here. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.